What's going on, guys? One love out to everybody. We got Bellator 263, Pitbull versus Aj Mckee. Aj Mckee, very excellent martial artist, very well rounded. He has been improving through the years. Ground game, scrambling, wrestling, stand up, mental game is on point. Pitbull, dangerous guy, counter striking, knockout power. BJJ black belt, he can submit you, he can knock you out. The same thing with Aj Mckee Jr. So this matchup here, I've been looking forward to it for a long time. It's a very good matchup, going to be a very good fight. A lot of good fights in the cards too. We got Max Burnell versus Emanuela Sanchez. We have Usman Nurmagomedov versus Manny Muro. I'm only doing 9 fights in this card here. Before I get started though, I want to say, guys, sign up to my Patreon account. I will be putting the face-offs on there. I got some combination plays going to be put on there. Also got some prop bets, man. So go sign up for the Patreon. And before I get started, I want to give a shout out to all my patrons here who've been leaving wonderful messages, man. A lot of inspiring things to be leaving, no? I really respect, people like that. I have love for everybody, but I also respect the guys who come in and leave their input. Zuzu Rama. Enough love going out to you, man. Enough respect to Zuzu. Great work, Wayne. Great work. Slow and steady wins the race. Bet 20 on every face-off play and always come out on top. Don't be greedy and you will last. Going to share this Patreon link with everyone I know. Best prediction. Enough respect to that, Zuzu. Hands down the best analyst online. Even if it doesn't go right, you always keep everything 100% real and transparent. You're the best, brother. Enough love going out to you, my brethren Zuzu. Enough respect to you, Zuzu, and one love. Alright, so guys, check out my Patreon account. Go over there and sign up. Also check out Wayne or Gadzhi. This is my next Patreon here for my Wayne Gadzhi channel. I've been putting up some videos on here, but go over there and give some love over there too. Alright, so let's jump into this Bellator card real quick. I have to go to the UFC after this one. So, got a lot of work to put out here, guys. Let's start with the first fight here. This is all going to be mixed up, guys, because I'm going to do 9 of the fights in this card, okay? First fight here, we got Sanchez versus Burnell, right? Max Burnell versus Emmanuel Sanchez. Max Burnell, a BJJ black belt, well-rounded guy, was in the UFC. Burnell can get taken down, but he will scramble up, get back to his foot. And he's definitely will look for submissions. All right, his striking has been getting better. He more going to the pocket, throw out the combinations inside, right? But he's pretty well-rounded guy, and as you see by his record, and a good winning streak here. Like I said, his last loss was in the UFC in 2018, right, against Arnold Allen. Also lost to Michael Prezeras too. But like I said, he was in the UFC, very experienced guy. He was in Cage Warriors too. His opponent to Emmanuel Sanchez is the next guy who just lost to Pitbull. So this guy was actually fighting for if you want to say the belt, right? But he lost a fight in the first round. It was a rematch, I believe. I believe he fought Pitbull way back and he lost too, but he lost by unanimous decision. In his recent fight here against him again, he lost by guillotine choke in the first round, right? Sanchez is a BJJ black belt also. He will look for takedowns too and look for submissions, so that's more his thing, pretty similar to Max Burnell. So you could probably see this fight maybe on the ground a lot because both guys are BJJ black belts and they both like to look for submissions, right? So this might come to the guy who is a better ground practitioner here, right? Sanchez is going to be the quicker fighter here. I feel Sanchez striking is a little bit more accurate coming out of Rufus camp there. Out of Rufus Sport. So his striking could be a little more accurate. But I feel Burnell may have the edge on the ground though. And you could see Emmanuel Sanchez gets taken down a lot in his fights. But then he likes to work off his back. So if he goes down to the ground with Burnell and doesn't want to play that ground game, I can see Burnell possibly can submit him, or the fight could just go to a decision, right? This is a tricky one here, and this is an even fight for me because both guys are pretty experienced, both guys are very skilled, both guys are very similar. So this is a tough one to pick here, guys, but I went back and forward, to be honest with you. But I'm gonna go with Burnell for the win here, guys. And I must say Burnell by a decision, but I'm not confident. And like I said, I will have prop bets on my Patreon. And I will also have combination plays, meaning that I could have some 5 plays and there, some 4 plays, a whole different 9 play. You know what I'm saying? I could mix it up with all type of different things. So check out my Patreon account, guys. But I like Burnell for this one. And I'm going to say Burnell by a decision. All right. Next fight here, guys. We got Gadzhi Rabadanov versus Daniel Carey. Rabadanov here, sambo background wrestling, kind of freestyle wrestling style he has there. He will look for takedowns. He's a grinder. He's a grinder, throws heavy leg kicks. At times he gets kind of wild with the striking, and sometimes he could hesitate depending on who he's fighting. But if he knows that he can walk through you, he's going to freaking grind, man, and go for double single legs all day long. Let me see here. Looks for takedowns mostly. Yeah, he looks for takedowns and mostly double legs, right? He's going to have the 5-inch reach in this fight, though, which is massive, and a 2-inch of height. Like I said, with that kind of height and reach, you know, you automatically should win the fight, right? But this guy here, I mean, from what I see, he's more of a grinder, more sambo, but he's elusive with the takedown, though. He just keep going and going and going, and it depends on who he's fighting. He will just keep pressuring you, pressuring you, pressuring for takedown, right? His opponent here, Carey. Carey can get taken down, but Carey will also look for submissions. His strike defense, it need work because sometimes he's just walking into shots. It takes a lot of damage coming forward. Doesn't move his head off center line. He will, like I said, he will look for the submissions. And he would also look for the takedown. But like I said, this guy's well-rounded. He'll put it together. But he's moving up in weight, I believe. 144 Aaron Pico. If you saw the Aaron Pico fight there. Yeah, he's moving up to 150. It's like a catch weight thing here. But mostly fights at 145. I mean, he'll go up to 150, I mean, 5 pounds. But Rabadanov here usually fights at 155, right? I believe he fights at even, I see him at 160 or something like that. 145, he fights at 145 too, but he mostly fights at 155. I think Carey is mostly at 145. For this fight here, man, Carey, I mean, he pulled off wins, man. He got a win over here by Gaston Blanos. You know, Gaston Blanos is like pretty good kickboxer, but his all-around game is not that well-rounded. So if you have a guy like Carey, the guy is well-rounded, but he has holes still, he can find a way to pull the fight up, which he did. He pulled out by guillotine choke. So, but against Rabadanov, man, Rabadanov is strong in the sambo, man. His sambo is strong, dude. It's kind of like Habib. I won't say he's exactly like Habib because Habib is Habib. You know what I'm saying? He's like nobody gonna be Habib, but he has the skills like what Habib have. And I mean, Carey is decent, but I can see Rabadanov here pulling off the win, guys. But I mean, be careful with this one, though, man. I mean, you know, we always see upsets here. I mean, the odds on this probably may be high, too. So I'm going to take a look at the odds after this. But I'm going to go with Rabadanov, guys. I'm going to say Rabadanov by a decision. All right. Next fight here. It's going to be Georgi Karakhanyan versus Kiefer Crosby. Georgi here is pretty well-rounded guy, man. Veteran, actually. We'll look for the submissions or definitely knock you out. He got heavy overhand, man. Pack power. We'll also look for takedowns, and we'll also definitely look for submissions, which I think he has more submissions than he has knockouts. His wrestling is pretty legit, man. He's a grinder too that will keep pushing, man, until he gets that takedown, which most of the time he does, and he usually can get the submission too. Let me see here. I believe he has a lot of submissions, actually. He has 15 by submissions, man, and 7 by knockout. So this is a guy, if he takes it down, most likely he will submit you, right? His opponent here, Crosby. Crosby, wrestling based there. I feel like he doesn't have much MMA experience, though. And his striking, I mean, like I said, enough respect to all the guys, anybody that's in the sport fighting, that trained to fight for the sport. hats off to you because it's a dangerous sport, right? And you can get brain damage. You can hurt yourself in the sport real bad, and it's your health. They're basically giving away their health, and your health is your wealth. So hats off to all the guys. No negativity here, all love at the end of the day. But I'm going to break these guys down, explain to you, right? His striking is there, and I'm saying he's a heavy hitter, but the way how he fights is just straightforward, and his chin is high, and he takes a lot of damage. So this is a guy that would take a hit to give a hit, right? And with a fight like that, it's risky, because then he could come in here and then just try to walk on Georgi, and Georgi comes forward too. So both guys are gonna come forward. So the first guy that catches the punch to your chin or whatever, your face not meant to get hit. The slight touch, you can go down, and Crosby gets dazed a lot in his fights, and he get a lot of lot of scar tissue in this guy, because the way he fights, he brawls, right? Crosby here, he has a 3-inch of reach and 3-inch of height, which is massive, so he's going to over height and reach on Georgi. He looks to strike, but he will shell up a lot. Like I said, he takes a hit to give a hit, so then he will just cover up real quick, take some hits on the hand. With small gloves, the punches do still get in, and then he try to fire back in counter. Eats a lot of shots. He will mix it up, mix up the striking and the kicks and the punches together, move forward, but he takes a lot of damage. I read it from my notes here, guys. He will also look for takedown too, but he's a brawler, man, and he will just bite down and just go at it. And with that, I mean, he's been fighting from 210. He has a good amateur here. I mean, as far as starting way back in 2010, but man, I just feel like Georgi is just more veteran, is more experienced, and if he comes in here just swinging like that, Georgi will probably swing down with him. But I feel Georgi pack more power, man. Even though they hide in the reach, but this guy fights in the pocket. He likes to come right down and then come in the pocket, and then without reach and height, he should even be in the pocket. But again, this is a guy that just goes crazy in there. So for the fact that he does that, and Georgi got a wrestling base, man, I mean, I could see Georgi just grinding him off for a win, man. Just grind him off for a win. And the guy, Crosby guy, is a very, he's mentally tough. You can tell that he's not going to give up. He just take a whole bunch of punches, man, and he just start bleeding everywhere. So I have to go with Georgi for this fight, but this is a fight I'm not confident with, because again, the both guys gonna come forward. So all depends on the game plan. And if both guys come forward and just start swinging, man, I mean, Georgi been knocked out 3 times, and I believe Crosby been knocked out 1 time. So I mean, it's a fight where it's like it could be a toss up. So it's a fight that be very careful with. Now, if it's a game plan now, and then Georgi coming here, he moves on a little bit. Don't pressure too much, but Crosby gonna come forward and make Crosby throw a little bit of punches and throw some kicks and kind of go wild. Then he time him and take him down. It's a 3-round fight. Georgi win this fight easy if you're gonna work the takedowns, like sneakily work it now. Act like he's gonna strike with him. Maybe get into a slight, a little bit of punch out, a little bit of brawl with him. Just kind of do what Crosby wanna do for a little bit, kind of give him that false insecurity. Crosby's going to be like, oh man, this guy's going to strike, and he just go for takedown. I mean, that's possible, you can do that. But to keep that straightforward, just banging, is a risk, because you're not going to know who's going to win this. You just take one shot. So for this one, man, I like Georgi. Not confident. I'm gonna say Georgi by decision, guys. Just a grindy fight. It could even be a split decision, to be honest with you, because I believe this fight could go either way. So to me, it's an even fight. But I'm gonna say Georgi by split. Okay. Next fight here we have, which is an interesting fight, very interesting matchup actually. Gatti Yamauchi versus Chris Gonzalez, or Chris Gonzalez. Yeah. Okay, so this fight here, man. I mean, I'm gonna break down Gatti first. Yamauchi. Yamauchi here is a very well-rounded guy, man, and especially in the submission game. And submissions is thin, right? He's like a Venus flytrap in there. Like once he lock up on you, he's over, right? He win most of his fights by just submissions only. So he's not really a guy that pack power, but he will stand up with you, and the stand up is kind of like a Machida stand up. Has more of a karate Kyokushin kind of base there, like in and out movement. But he's looking for the submissions, man. I mean, majority of his wins are by submissions. 20 of his fights are won by submission, and he has 25 by wins, right? Never been finished though. No, the thing about this fight, you look at Christopher Gonzalez, right? And I mean, he started back in 2018 here. He has a wrestling base in him, but I watched a fight with. Which fight I watched? I watched the Tokov fight, the Vladimir Tokov, and also I think I watched Aaron McKenzie. I mean, just by watching him, I mean, his striking is in the works. So it's the striking is there. All right, it's not at any high level of striking, but you can tell that he's still learning, and he's over there by Team Alpha Male, so he's more. Basing his fights off his wrestling, that's going to be a strong point. He has a strong wrestling base. But against Yamauchi, I mean, Yamauchi is just, the guy is a very experienced guy, man. That's why I wonder why they gave this fight. But I'm looking at this fight as, I think, the reason why they gave Yamauchi this fight because of his last performance against Dan Morit. But I felt that Yamauchi won that fight, dude. That was a robbery. So that's a win for Yamauchi in my book, from what I've seen. Right, but next thing too, Yamauchi gets taken down a lot in his fights, and a lot of times he doesn't mind getting taken down because he would just keep looking for submission, like we said against Michael Chandler. But Michael Chandler is a very experienced veteran guy. So against Michael Chandler, yeah, he's on his back, but he's trying to throw up submissions, and Michael Chandler does keep Michael Chandler does keep moving his hips. So. He keep in the motion, he keeps scrambling, so Yamauchi is struggling to even get a arm bar or a Kimura or whatever he's trying to get. He wasn't able to do that because of the movement. So they probably looking at this fight as, yeah, maybe Chris Gonzalez can come in here and maybe just take down Yamauchi and do the same thing, keep him on his back and just burn out rounds for 3 rounds by out wrestling him. That's possible, man. But then that's against Michael Chandler though. And this guy only has 5 losses. That's it. And he's what? He has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, he's 12 and he's 12 and 4 in Bellator. All right. So, which the Muro fight, I don't even count that. So you can say 12 and 3 because I felt he won that fight. So they're probably thinking that Chris can come in here and grind out for a win, which is possible, man. But I don't see it, man. I think Gadzhi is just Gadzhi Amaguchi is just experienced guy, man. And I feel with Gonzalez, I feel like he's still learning the game, how to put it together, all in one, right? I mean, his wrestling is there, but I feel his striking is still in work. And even in the fight, I feel Yamauchi is more experienced in every department. Even mental. I feel Yamauchi is more better on the ground and better on the stand up. It's just the wrestling, the scrambling maybe. But if Yamauchi throw up a submission on him, I feel like he can catch Gonzalez by a submission, man. So yeah, man. So I must say Gadzhi Yamauchi here by a submission, guys. Not taking anything away from Gonzalez. I said he's a strong wrestling base. I think he doesn't have much experience as far as the guys that he has fought, and I feel like he has a little bit of holes in his game, man. So yeah. 217 was amateur. That's when he did his amateur, and his wrestling base is strong, man. But if he can take down Yamauchi back to back and hold him there without getting submitted, yeah, he probably can win the fight. Which that's probably what he's going to try to do, But I'm gonna go with Yamauchi. I'm gonna say Yamauchi by submission, guys. But in a way, I'm not too confident in this fight though because we see Yamauchi on his back a lot, and he's fishing for submissions. He's not trying to get back up. So if Gonzalez can put him there and able to keep him there with his wrestling, if he can out-wrestle him, I can see him winning, man. I'm going to say that. If the fight is just a stand-up fight, I see Yamauchi winning. And if Gonzalez is struggling to take him down and try to take him down, he can get caught in a submission from Yamauchi. It's just a risky one. That's why I'm not too confident in it. So, like I said, I'm going to go Yamauchi by submission, guys. All right? Next fight here. We have Usman Nurmagomedov versus Bright Prism. Next good fight here, guys. A lot of tough fights in this Bellator card, man. Nearly every single fight should be even. With Islam here, he will grind, man. He will grind, and he will grind harder depending, on the pressure of his opponent. So if the opponent is like pressure and him, kind of like outstriking him, he will push harder. But he will also gas out though. Sambo wrestling based there. He's pretty well rounded guy. Let me see. Very well rounded. His striking can get wild at times though, but the wrestling is his thin, right? He mostly look for his takedowns, and the wrestling and takedowns is going to be a strong point there. His striking can be open, man. I see him, eat a lot of shots. Sometimes even when he goes for his takedowns, he eating elbows, man, and getting knocked down. But then he recover. So this is a fight here where this guy will grind, but it's the next risky one here, man, because against Bright Prism here, Brett Primus, coming out American top team there. He's a pretty experienced guy. Fight Michael Chandler. I've actually fought him twice. Michael Chandler beat him the second time here. He's well rounded, and he will also look for the submissions. I believe the BJJ black belt. He would definitely look for submissions off his back. So this is a guy that don't mind getting taken down. So this is a fight here, man. If Mamedov can get him down, he may have him on the ground, but then you gotta be careful because this guy will submit you. So this is the next tough one here, man. And I feel with this fight here can go either way, and this fight should be an even one. It's in that 3-round. Mamedov has that Khabib kind of vibe with him, so he will lace the legs and hold you there, kind of pick you apart on the ground. Primus may have the better striking, especially the leg kick. It's a tough one, guys, but I'm going to push towards Islam Mamedov for the win, but be careful with this one because I could see Primus most likely probably can get a win on this one too, man. Probably even a decision. But I'm going to go with Mamedov here. I'm going to say Mamedov by decision, guys, and be careful with this one because Islam will fade, especially in the end of the second. Going to the third is like fading. Because he pushed a lot for takedowns, man. But he will get it, though. The guy's a grinder. Kind of have that Khabib style to him. But if you start fading on Primus, then you can see Primus possibly can even knock him out in the fight. I mean, that's a possibility. But I'm going to go with Mamedov for the win. I'm going to say Mamedov by decision, guys. All right? Next fight here, we have Johnny Cisneros versus Joshua Jones. Ooh, this one is definitely a toss-up, guys. Jones seems more well-rounded here in this fight. Wrestling BJJ. His takedown games doesn't look bad. His scrambling don't look bad. You know what I'm saying? He would do some reversals on you, kind of hold you down, kind of ground and pound, and he will look for submissions too, man. So this kid is not bad, and his striking is not bad. He can put it together. You know what I'm saying? Johnny here, Johnny Cisneros. Yeah, this guy gets wild in there, man. I mean, he comes straight at you, start brawling. He's heavy-handed though, and he's gonna have a 6-inch of reach. But this guy is very wild. He can get out of control in there, and he will get clipped and fall down, but he will get back up and keep pushing. So this guy's mental state, his mental is to push, and probably don't give up. But I see him get taken down, and if he push like that, I can see Jones maybe getting some takedowns in this fight, and maybe can ground and pound. Possibly can even look for submission because Jones' submission game is, I don't believe it's too bad. I mean, from what I'm seeing, this is a tough one too, guys, man. Because a lot of these guys here, they have a couple of losses, and some of these fights are difficult to call. From what I've seen, his ground game doesn't look bad. His wrestling doesn't look bad. And Johnny gonna look to take your head off. The guy's a brawler, man. Straightforward. But the ground game I have to give to Joshua Jones. But if Joshua Jones, go for takedowns and then don't be careful, he can get caught with something and get knocked out. So he has to be very careful with that. But for this one here, I'm gonna go with Jones for the win, man. I'm gonna say Jones gonna more go for takedowns and possibly look for submission on this one. All right. So we got here, what is it? Joshua Jones by submission, guys. Okay. Next fight here, we have Usman Nurmagomedov versus Manny Muro. Usman again out of Khabib camp there. He's a pretty decent fighter. Very well-rounded guy. He looks to strike, but most likely this guy here, he loves to stand up more and strike, but he has the ground too. You know, with most of Khabib guys, they were more like to wrestle. You know, they would strike for a little bit and start taking on. This guy would stand up with you and strike more, but then he would look for takedowns and submissions too, right? His opponent here, Mori. Mori is well-rounded guy. Push forward, his mental looks strong, and we'll also look for takedowns too. But man, a guy like Usman here, man, Nurmagomedov, man, this guy, his whole foundation is strong. You know, from the ground up. You know, his foundation is very strong. With Mori, I see holes in Mori's game. I see more holes in Mori's game than I see with Usman. Because everybody got a hole, man. You just have to find it, right? But Mori has, you know, you can see more holes in his game. And with Usman here, man, Usman just, he's going to be dominant in this fight. Odds on him is probably even high. But again, you know, be careful with these fights here because, like I said, age is a number, but the guy's 23 and Muro is what? Muro is like up there in 34. So experience plays a factor here, man. And again, Usman is not Khabib. Trains with him and he has a skill set kind of similar, but he's not Khabib though. Remember this. I'm liking Usman for the win here, man. But like I always say, man, anything is possible in this game, dude. And we see this all the time. You know, I believe Usman going to be a high favorite. We're going to take a look after this, so be careful. You know what I mean? And just don't go all the way in consistently on Usman. Or, you know, if you're betting or whatever you're doing or whatever you want to do, my picks. You know, you keep going high and high and high, and then Moro comes in winning. Just, you know, off of this experience, you just never know. You know what I mean? I mean, anybody can win in these games, man. Even if you're supposed to be the skilled guy or on paper you're training with the best guys out there, you still lose a fight, man. Anything is possible, dude. If it goes to decision, Usman win. Believe that. But if it doesn't go to decision, the fight ends in some kind of fashion, then hey, then it's up in the air, and anybody can win. If it goes to the judges, though, they're gonna have Usman winning. just believe that, okay? So yeah, I like Usman for the win. I'm gonna say Usman by. I have KOTK here, guys. So KOTK by Usman. All right. Next fight here we have Vanessa Porto versus Era Joanna. I believe this fight was cancelled or something happened with somebody here. I believe it was like maybe, I don't know, COVID or something like that. I don't know. But they rebooked it here. Porter here is a veteran, man. She's well-rounded BJJ black belt. She looked for the takedowns. She's heavy striker. Slower fight on the feet, though, against Joanna. Joanna could be the quicker fighter here. But this chick here, you know, she fought like Gonzalez. She fought Roxanne Metaphor, Jennifer Mayo. I believe she even fought Amanda Nunes. Yeah, Amanda Nunes. She's a pretty experienced woman here, man. Against Joanna, though, Joanne is pretty quick on the feet. Her striking doesn't look bad, and she has a ground game, too. We look for takedowns, also look for submissions. We'll also look to strike, and she's pretty accurate on the foot, though, man. She's going to be the quicker person here, so if she can able to outstrike Porto and keep her on the foot, she could win this fight. But we saw in her last fight against Kaina Wadabi, she got taken down, and she actually lost that fight in this third round by ground and pound. And against Porto will look for takedowns, man. Her BJJ black belt, pressure forward. But if Joanna can connect, though, it could be a early night. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna go with Porto for the win here. But it's a fight too, guys. I'll be very careful with it because Porter last fight there, Liz Carmos won that fight. I'm saying that she fought 219. So they kind of be careful. I mean, she should win this fight by pressure and takedowns. But I'll be very careful with it. But I'm gonna go with Porto though. I'm gonna say Porto by decision, guys. All right. And the main fight in the card here, guys. Main fight here. Patricio Pitbull versus Aj Mckee Jr. This is a good matchup here, man. So it'll be a good fight, guys. Very good fight. BJJ black belt Pitbull, very well-rounded, heavy hitter. We'll look for takedowns and look for submissions, switches stance, counter striker, quick on the counters, quick on the takedowns. His opponent here, Aj Mckee. and he's been champion for a minute. Oh yeah, been champion for a minute. His opponent to Aj Mckee is a next kid, man. You know, 26, wrestling base, kind of have a karate kind of stand up to him. He's gonna have 4 inch of height and 8 inch of reach. I never know Pitbull. Well, Aj Mckee is massive for this weight class though. So I mean, so that's the thing. The guy's like 5'10" and 73-inch reach. You know what I'm saying, at 145. So he's massive. And then Pitbull is yeah, it's like a Pitbull. Like he's like 5'6", 6'5" reach. So Aj Mckee he's gonna have the massive length on him, man, which can play a massive factor in this fight. You know, and Aj Mckee is already skilled at it. You know what I'm saying? Very rounded, athletic kid, man, and he's quick. He's quick in every department, man. His submission games, his countering, his scrambles, everything. The guy's on point, man. His foundation is very strong. You know, his dad did good with him, raised him from little, build his foundation up. You know what I'm saying? So everything he does is from his boxing, from his kickboxing, his movement, his wrestling game, his grappling, his Brazilian jiu-jitsu is on point. But Pitbull ain't the guy to play with though, because Pitbull got power, man. And if he plays around in the pocket too much, which he shouldn't, because he's gonna have freaking 8 inch of reach. With an 8 inch of reach, he should be on the outside, popping shots, moving, popping shots, moving, and he's gonna be the quicker guy here. Pitbull is quick too, but Aj Mckee gonna be the faster guy here and the more athletic. So with an 8 inch of friggin' reach, he suppose he can win this fight. Not saying easily, because it's a 5-round fight, but he should be able to stay on the outside. He doesn't need to be in the pocket, and he doesn't need to play around too much on the ground, because Pitbull ground game is pretty legit, and he doesn't want to be on his back too much with Pitbull on top, because Pitbull going to land on some shots on him, man. So this is a fight where you want to keep a distance, and he can do it, but then he has to do it in a way where he doesn't gas himself out, which he usually doesn't gas out. But it's a 5-round fight, and the more experienced guy here is going to be Pitbull, and Pitbull fought a lot of his fights them usually over in first round. You know, he has a couple that goes to 5, but he has experience going to 5-5. You know, so this is a tough one, guys, and this is an even one in my opinion. But if AJ can keep this fight long, use his reach advantage, his 8 inch of reach, dude, he should be able to win this fight. He could pick Pitbull apart by staying outside. He doesn't want to be in the pocket because he's not going to favor him, because Pitbull going to pop more power on the inside, and he's going to look for corner on the inside. Right? He can keep this fight long, keep moving laterally and circularly, and work the jab. Kind of look out for the leg kicks, pick his shot. He can pull this fight off, in my opinion. It's going to be a tough one though, because Pitbull is no pushover, right? So I'm liking Aj Mckee for this one, man, and I'm gonna say Aj Mckee I'm gonna say KO here, guys. Not taking anything away from Pitbull, like I said, but athleticism, timing. This guy's pretty accurate, man. Just everything he does is just, his foundation is very, very good. You know what I'm saying? You put this guy anywhere, he's gonna look to submit you. He look for triangle arm bars. He's gonna look to reverse. He's gonna look to hit you with a kick. Hit you with a counter punch. He's long reach already. He's big for that 145. And he has the skills. It's not like this guy's not skilled, man. And he's undefeated. And he fought good guys, man. It's not like he fought any cans. And if you look at his fights, he has no split decisions. So none of his fights are close. He always finishes fights by unanimous decision or by a finish. Undercutter choke, triangular armbar, a modified neck crank from guard. From that submission he pulled off there was, dude. I don't think Darren Cardwell knew what he was doing when he set that up. He thought he was just like wrapping his hands over, but he was setting it up. You know, his neck was just cranked, was squeezing his neck. His chin was touching his chin. His chin was touching his chest. Put a lot of pressure on the back of the neck. Yeah, man. So I got AJ for this fight, man. And I'm gonna say AJ by KO, guys. All right, it's gonna be a good fight, man. Let's check out the odds here, guys. See what we're working with the odds. Georgi, -245. Whoa. Georgi more experience, but I think he's too high though, because Crosby could win this fight too. You know what I'm saying? But I favor Georgi though, but I think the odds on him is too high. He could be a little closer, so be careful with this one, guys. Okay. Jones and Johnny. Okay, they got Joshua at 210. I'll be very. This is an even fight. Johnny and Joshua is an even fight, so be very careful with this one. Daniel Carey and Rabadanov. Wow, Rabadanov is freaking high as hell. 600. Damn. Be careful with this one too, man. Be very careful with this one, guys. I think the odds in Rabadanov is way too high. Could be like 170. It's too high. Way too high. Porto and Joanna. Alright, yeah, Porto 300 and something. I still think it's a little bit too high. Should be somewhere in the hundreds. 160 or something like that. And the odds on here are high, man. Gotti is negative 146. Okay, so I do have him as favorite then. Okay, some 170. I don't have a problem with that, man. But again, if Gonzalez keep getting the takedown though, remember, Yamauchi could lose his fight if Gonzalez could keep getting the takedowns consistently, and Yamauchi unable to get the submission or doesn't get up, he could lose his fight. So be very careful with this one. Usman and Muro, yeah, of course, these guys are super high favorite. Wow, thousands. Like I said, guys, Usman supposed to can win this fight, but we see, huge favorites usually lose. So be careful, and at the thousands and something, I mean, turnaround not gonna be that much. So be careful with it. I wouldn't play it too much, just to be honest with you, because it's not worth it. All right. Bright Prism, Mamedov. Okay, 198, 215. Disagree with this one. This is an even fight. From what I see from Mamedov, he gets tired, man, and his striking is, he got a holes in his striking, and he relies a lot on his takedowns, which is great because you usually get it, but then he takes a lot of beating sometimes to get those takedowns. And against Bright Prism, I mean, if Bright Prism can defend the takedowns, he's going to be in problems. If Mamedov gets tired, he's going to be in problem because he does get tired. So 198, 200, I'd be careful. This is an even fight, guys. Be very careful with this one. This is an even one. Sanchez versus Max Burnell. Okay, close to even. All right. It is about right here. Like even fight. Yeah, it's about right, because this is a tough one. These guys are pretty much similar in skill set. So this fight can go either way. So it's an even fight. And Fury and Mckee or Pitbull, perfect, even, exactly how I have it. I believe either guys here could win. All depend on the game planning. I mean, the same to with Matt Burnell and Sanchez. All depends on the game planning. If Matt Burnell keep this fight on the ground, he pull the fight off. If you keep this fight standing up, he may have a little bit of problem. And Patrício Fury and Aj Mckee keep it long, you win. If he plays around the pocket, it could be risky because Patrício Fury could catch him with something. Could. Alright, because he has a power. So, yeah. So the fights I agree with is Mckee, Sanchez fights I agree. The Islam I disagree, even fights, so be very careful. Nurmagomedov, supposed to can win it, but I wouldn't parlay him too much because it's not worth it. Gadzhi and Chris. Yeah, I can see Goiti pulling off the win here, at least to give him some respect on the odds. Porto and Joanne, I'll be careful with this one. I'll be very careful. Probably could fade it. Carey and Rabadanov, very careful with this one. Rabadanov is way too high. Very careful. I would. This fight here should be close to even, in my opinion. It shouldn't be so high on him. But again, just be careful. That's all. Jones and Krasnov. Jones 2. No, this is the next even one too, because the guy's skill set. Both the guys are, I'm saying, they do their thing, but either guy could win. So even fight. Georgi and Crosby. I think Georgi a little bit too high there, but he's supposed to can win. Maybe the 160, 140, 150. So be careful with it. And yeah, that's about it, guys. That's it right there. Prediction breakdown. You guys check out my Patreon. I'll be dropping the prop bets on there. Also some combination plays and my face-off and weigh-in predictions. I'm going to be working on the UFC now. Maybe get that out to you maybe by tonight, most likely tomorrow. Alright, and check out my Patreon. I'm going to be leaving all the props and all of the face-off over there. Alright. Also check out Wayne Gadzhi also. My Patreon over there too. I'll leave the links down below. One love out to everybody. You guys keep on kicking and